Hello, and welcome to Rocket Fuel, your daily update of everything that's happening in the Rocket Pool community. My name is Wack. Today is March 14th. I'm sorry there wasn't an episode yesterday. It was just a slow news day. There wasn't really much worth covering. But today's episode is going to talk about the wall command coming back. For those of you who've been in the Discord for a while, you know that's been missed. We're going to talk about the latest IMC report, rETH discount growing again, and a whole lot more. So let's get started.
10, 9, ignition sequence start, 6.
So we're going to start with some interesting changes with Rocket Watch. So those of you who have been around for a little while, you know that Invis has kind of left the community, and he was the person who spent many dozens, hundreds of hours working on Rocket Watch, which was this whole range, like it's a tool basically that you could use to get a whole lot of information about Rocket Pool, like lots and lots of different things, lots of different commands you could use to get information. It's just a really, really amazing tool that Invis developed. Well, since Invis stepped back from the community, Halulu has pretty much taken over, adding new features and running and maintaining the Rocket Watch. And one of the things that he's been wanting to do for a while is make a new wall command, because the old one was just getting information from Uniswap v3, and that was very patchy, limited liquidity, and it only showed a very small snapshot of what the liquidity looked like, and it was just really bad. So Hodger a little while ago started working on like getting a lot of different liquidity sources together and making a new wall command showing like what liquidity looked like for Rocket Pool for the RPL token. Halulu was inspired by that and made a new wall command. So here we have an output. It says data from centralized exchanges, APIs, and mainnet, and RPL market depth. So the current price, it tells you what the current price is. Then it tells you what the observed liquidity is within the range, and what sources is using. So 2 decentralized exchanges and 18 centralized exchanges. And if we actually have a look here, we can see that my mouse has died. Give me a second, guys. Yeah, so let's have a look here. And you can see that it basically is showing, you can't really see it that well. Let me see if I can move my face out of the way. Okay, a little bit better here. So it says the current price is $5.29. Then it's got like a $30 range from 0 up to $30. And it tells you that, on the on the buy side, that means people who are waiting for the price to go down before they buy, there is around $1 million worth of buying that's waiting for that. And that is based on Uniswap, Binance, BingX, Bitvavo, mostly, and then some others as well. And then on the sell side, this is like as the price goes up, then people will be selling their RPL. That there's a whole lot of liquidity there going up to $30, and there's many millions of dollars worth, like thousands of ETH worth of liquidity, and that is mostly on Uniswap and Binance, and then we have it on BingX and Mexi and others as well. So you can kind of see this chart, see the output here of the new wall command, and get some really good information about what it's looking like and what kind of information is there. But this was a really nice tool developed by Halulu, and it's absolutely awesome the work that Halulu's been doing with Rocket Watch and making some of the outputs better and just adding new outputs and things as well. So great stuff, Halulu. Okay, next we are going to go to the forum, and here we see that Samus has pasted the IMC's period 33 report and period 34 budget. So here we have a summary of period 33. There's a link to the sheet if you want, and it says Optimism campaign ended this period and maintained low optimism spend of 50 RPL instead of 200 RPL on the first fortnight, but bumped it back up to 200 RPL in the second fortnight. And then the IMC continued spending budget cuts as well. And then the inflows were 11,200 thereabouts. The outflows were 10,900 thereabouts. And then the RPL balance change 33, so 12% change from 2,900 RPL to 3,300 RPL and extrapolated months to zero. Like we have a slight budget surplus, so we're not going to go to zero hopefully soon. Then there's some information about what budget 34 looks like and what the price impact for 1% sell looks like, and how that's all looking. And then we also have some information about liquidity looks stable on mainnet, and there's been an uptick in liquidity on Optimism, which of course is nice to see. So thank you, Samus, for putting together that report from the IMC. Okay, next we have a discount on our ETH on the secondary market. So this is at 0.758%. So that's a considerable discount that has emerged on the secondary market. And like I mentioned this a few times on Rocket Fuel before, but one of the things that's happening here is that, as the price goes back to peg, then people sell, and then the price depegs, then people exit their validators and use the exit arb, and then they eat up the arb, and then they go back to peg, and then it's a kind of a vicious circle, sadly, which over and over again, what ends up happening is that the protocol is losing TVL. It's happening slowly, not that fast, but it's happening, and that's not going to be. There's not going to be a way to fix this until we have protocol level withdrawals, where people will, tell Rocket Pool, hey, I want to redeem, 10,000 rETH back at the protocol value, and then the protocol will exit validators to make that happen. There's a band-aid going through in terms of one of the RPIPs that is getting passed right now, and that is going to make it so the when people deposit ETH into the deposit pool, instead of matching with validators right away, it's going to fill the buffer first. So there will hopefully be some ways of people, getting that back. There are ETH back at a better rate, but mostly it's going to be this dynamic until something changes at the protocol level. What's really interesting though is Halulo mentioned that Meek is exiting his validators. Meek is one of the biggest validators, node operators on Rocket Pool, one of the bigger ones, and I think he's got some thousands of ETH that he will be exiting. So that is actually happening right now. So Halulo actually opened a position on Contango to go long our ETH against ETH, with the idea that this discount is going to close. I'm not going to suggest that's financial advice to anyone. Of course not. Like, it's risky to open leverage positions, and things could go wrong. But this happened with the previous phase where we were around 1% off peg, 1.1%, and then that had closed completely by the time that wave of exits happened. And it looks like Halulo kind of understood how that's going to work out, and is going to do something similar. Now, if you do think that Meek's exit is going to close the discount completely, then I think it was Jasper and Looking for Owls. They ran the numbers that showed if you have around 100 ETH in a long position, within a matter of days, you could make 2 to 4 ETH, depending on how it goes for you. Of course, again, I must make clear, I don't fully understand the mechanisms of that. So please do your own research. This is not financial advice. I'm not telling you all to go open long positions, but for those who do, it might be profitable. But that's completely up to you. It's not me suggesting you do that at all. So please keep that in mind. Okay, got a sad story to share here from BakedEnt. And BakedEnt has been a node operator with Rocket Pool for quite a while. And I've known BakedEnt from Reddit's ETH finance community for a number of years. He's been a person who's been a really good contributor. And some really sad news here. And this was BakedEnt sharing the news saying, okay, it happened. Final liquidation. I lost everything. I tried to recover the ETH I lost going balls deep on RPL in a large ETH BTC margin, and it's over for me. And he says he lost 700 ETH. It's a generational wealth fumble. So this is absolutely horrifying, really sad news. BakedEnt basically started validators, I guess, and bought some RPL. And with the RPL position, he lost ETH value as RPL price went down compared to ETH. Then he tried to chase those losses to make them back by by opening a leverage position of ETH against the BTC ratio. The idea was that he had that ETH would go up against BTC. Of course, recently it's been bleeding down really badly over the last few months, over the last few years even. And anytime anyone said the bottom is near, the bottom was not near, and it looks like that's what happened to BakedEnt here. So he went in with his portfolio and tried to make back his losses and lost his crypto. So this is a really sad story. I'm not going to try to draw any lessons from this. It's just I'm sharing it because it's sad news. But if you all want to try to draw conclusions from that, you're welcome to do that yourselves. Okay, next we've got some news from Nixo here, and Nixo, of course, works for the Ethereum Foundation now, and she was sharing the agenda for the All Core Devs call that took place yesterday. And here, the Thursday call said that so many things to add to this agenda, but one of the main things was Pectra and Haleshki. So Nixo said that Haleshki finalized, but the exit queue is so long that it prevents full testing of staking features like consolidations. Parithos proposed few paths forward. Staking protocols with strong preference should attend to voice those preferences. And then still we need to figure out a path forward for testing. We'll likely still won't get Pectra mainnet date. Relevant parties like staking protocols need to know how they're going to robustly test and prepare before we commit to a date. And then there's some more information about EIPs, etc. So then we actually had the All Core Devs call, and here there was this update put out about it. So that was the agenda, and then Tim Baiko had an update on the actions and next steps. So what was decided was a new long-living testnet will be started, and this will be called Hoodie, and it will start on the 17th of March, which is like in 3 days' time. So it's going to be a long-lived testnet. It's going to have a short-term focus towards testing validator exits, and it will activate on Pectra on it will undergo the Pectra hard fork on the 26th of March. So in 2 weeks, well, just under 2 weeks from when Tim wrote this post yesterday. So it says a mainnet fork time for Pectra will only be chosen after Pectra successfully activates on Hoodie and client teams feel confident in the state of testing. Mainnet will be scheduled at least 30 days after the Hoodie fork, so that'll be April 25th or later. So it looks like we'll be going for beginning of May, or maybe middle of May for the Pectra update on mainnet. So that's about 6 weeks later than what our initial ideas and expectations were. So it says March 24th. Other things about Fusaka, March 24th is the deadline for EIPs to be proposed for inclusion. And then March 31st, deadline for client teams to share preferences about scope. And then on April 10th, the Fusaka scope will be frozen, and the community is still looking forward to having Fusaka by the end of 2025. So then the summary here is that Hoodie will be a new testnet. So the reason why Hoodie is coming up, let me make clear, is that to get Haleshki finalizing, we had to undergo a mass slashing event, which meant that like the vast majority of the network was slashed, and because they were slashed, there's like a exit queue that you have to kind of go through, and that is just clogged with thousands upon thousands, hundreds of thousands of validators. I think if not million validators or something like that. And to clear that queue, it's going to take a really long time. So yeah, here, this is what Tim says. He says, this will enable to test validator exits, which is impossible in Haleshki right now, given the exit queue will take 1 year to empty. So all of the Pectra functionality, including validator consolidations, can still be tested on Haleshki and Sepolia. This option was chosen to avoid client teams writing custom code to clear the Haleshki exit queue, which is Plan D, which could lead to further bugs and delays. So Hoodie will launch on March 26th and activate on Pectra, and then the network will have the same configuration settings and mainnet. So what you should make clear here is that if you are a staking service, and if you want to test validator exits and consolidations and things like that, then you need to test those, and you can use Hoodie for that. However, if you are an app developer, then Haleshki is still working now, so you could technically use Haleshki, I think. So yeah, that's something to just make clear there. And then about Fusaka, then there's information about what that might look like. and then there's a recording of the call as well if you want to listen to it. So it looks like we have a path forward now, which of course is really awesome to see. And yeah, I think that should be really good. Thanks to everyone involved with that. And then finally, Holulo here shared a screenshot of a sale being completed. You might be thinking, what's this sale that's been completed? Well, Sneaky Ninja Guy has been kind of counting down to it, and this is the World Liberty Financial pre-sale that has concluded. That means that the first tranche that was made and that had some percentage of the tokens, I forgot the exact number, but they were being sold and that had sold out. And then the second tranche was set up at a price 3 times higher, I think, and that yesterday sold out as well. So now I think the next steps are that the protocol is going to launch at some point soon. This World Liberty Financial, for those of you who don't know, is Donald Trump's DeFi project that is a friendly fork or an instance of Aave, and it's just got rebranding into World Liberty Financial. And the reason why I'm covering it in Rocket Fuel, of course, is because the president launched a DeFi protocol on Ethereum, so that's interesting news. But also, a lot of Rocket Pool people actually invested in World Liberty Financial when Jasper was talking to them a couple of months ago about trying to integrate Rocket Pool somehow into their protocol. But yeah, that's where we stand. So I'm actually going to end today's episode out there. Like I said, last few days have been like slow news days. So I want to thank you all for watching, listening, and being part of the Rocket Fuel community. I hope you all have a lovely weekend ahead. I'm going to travel to Chicago today for a crypto meetup that I'm having with my Chicago gang. So maybe I'll give you an update on that on Monday. But otherwise, have a great weekend and I'll see you all soon. Bye.